Hi and welcome back to RS Thinks. The video you're about to see has already been on YouTube, but I've actually pulled it and I'm replacing it with this one that you're looking at now. A viewer called Steve rightly pointed out that the way that I'd routed the cable in the video would compromise the safety of the curtain airbag. So what I've done is I've gone back and reshot another piece where I actually route the cable around the back of the airbag rather than in front of the airbag, so as not to compromise the safety of the curtain airbag. So what you're looking at now is the new amended video. The video is exactly the same as before, but there's just one little sequence towards the end that just shows you how you should route the cable around the rear of the curtain airbag. Big thanks to Steve for pointing this out to me. I don't know your surname, but this update, this safety update is all down to you, so thank you very much. If you want to keep on watching, you'll see how to install a dashcam into your ID.3. So hello and welcome back to RS Thinks again. In this video, what I'm going to be doing is hardwiring in a dashcam to my ID.3. Before, when I had my Leaf, I had the dashcam hooked up, but that was into the 12-volt socket. So it had a live connection that came on that was switched. Now in this instance we're going to actually wire it into the fuse panel in the glove box. The camera I've got is a ROAV C1 Pro. I did try to find a link to this online. I originally got this from Amazon back in 2018 and it just seems to be out of stock. So I can recommend it. It's pretty good. It's a 2K resolution one. It's got GPS in there so it can overlay your speed and other bits and pieces. So it is quite good. Where I've used items that I've purchased from Amazon, I'm going to include links to those in the comments so you can see those and get those as well, and I'll reference those as I go along. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to use what's called a piggyback fuse. So we unplug a fuse in the fuse box. In this case we're going to be using the rear wiper fuse, which is a switched fuse, so only comes on when the ignition's turned on. And we plug the existing fuse into the bottom one here, and then this one goes into the fuse panel, and the fuse on the top, which is a 3 amp fuse, will protect the live that's going to come out here, that's going to feed a DC to DC converter that we've got. Obviously the webcam needs to have a 12-volt supply, and because it's USB it needs to reduce that down to 5 volts. So we have this device here, which is a DC-DC converter. The piggyback fuse costs about maybe £2.50 from Amazon. There's a link in the description. And this DC to DC converter takes a 12-volt signal and knocks it down to 5 volts, 3 amps. This one actually costs, just looking at my list here, this one costs £8.33, this one here. So all this is there's just a USB connection on the end, a female one, which we'll plug the webcam into, and then there's 2 wires coming off it, the live and neutral. All I've done is one of them I've crimped on a connector here, you can see there, which is going to be the negative, and then this one here has just a push fit connector here. So when we have the piggyback fuse, we just connect these two together just like this and just push those home firmly like this. So the whole thing ends up looking like this. So there's a fuse on one end and basically USB socket on the other end, and we just need to connect this yellow crimped connector to the negative. So to do that we need to open up the glove box into here, because the fuse is just to the left hand side, just in here. So let's do that now. So first off we need to remove the glove box. We're just going to drop it down, we're not going to totally remove it. But in order to do that, first remove the fuse box cover, because there's something we need to get to around the back of here that kind of releases this. So just pull this out, just give it a tug. And then just to the left, just in here, push this forward, which releases it, and then we just need to pull it out of the hole and just leave it in the back like that. So once we've removed the bracket, you just need to pinch in on this side and pinch in on this side here, just to release some clamps, and then the whole thing drops down. You can see on this side, there's one here that you push in, and there's one on the other side that you push in. When you push them in together, the whole thing just drops down. So the fuse we're going to use is this one here. It's a blue one, blue 15 amp fuse. It's right at the bottom, and that's for the rear wiper. So we just need to remove that now. So that's the fuse removed, 15 amp one. Now we've got the fuse out, all we need to do is just put it into our bottom position of our piggyback fuse here. So it's ready to go back in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire this in using the negative first, and then plug it into the fuse panel. So to do this, we just need to unscrew this screw here. See that? Just release that. It's a Torx one, it's a Torx 30. So we're just going to remove this and then add this into our thing here, and then just screw it back in again. And now it's just to feed the wires through. So we're going to feed this through so it comes through. There's a gap on this side on the fuse panel, just going to feed this through. Don't worry, this does come out and we can put this back in again. I'll show you how in a minute. So just pull this through, and then we just put it back into the fuse position at the bottom in the middle here. Which is just there. So this is all in. And now it's just to make this good here. This is just going to use a 3M strip just to fasten to a little bit of panel in here. So I'll just change the angle in a second, you can see that. So there you can see I've just used a 3M strip just to fasten it to the piece of plastic here. It's out the way as well, so the glove box can still move and open and close without fouling this. And then we just have the USB connector just here, ready to accept the cable from the camera. So next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to route this cable so it's as far in the corner as it can be, because we're going to remove a panel in a sec to be able to route the cable from the dash cam. So I'm just getting this as close to this left hand side as I can, so that when I take the panel off I'll be able to see the cable and then just connect it. So that's fine in there. So I'm just going to fix this back on. And then lift up the glove box and push the glove box up, twist this here, and then just click on the fuse box covering. And then that's all this done now. Just need to route the cable for the camera, and then mount the camera on the screen or underneath the mirror. Okay, so now all this is back together. We just need to prise out this panel here. It's just a little bit of pressure, it comes out. And then we can just feel down here, and we should be able to, yeah, so there's the USB cable there. So this is ready to accept the wire from the camera. So we just need to run the wire down the side of the panel here now, just to get into this particular area here. So we've got the camera mounted to the screen just there. So I just turn the ignition on the car. We should get, there you go. So it's just firing up now, and it's on power. All I've done is just routed the cable just on the floor just there to prove that everything's working and it's going to charge. So that's fine. So now we just need to route the cable up round this here, following the roof line across the top to there, and then we're going to come down this side here, which is on the A pillar, and then run it down the seal, and then we can get all down this seal here and then run it so it just routes into that hole there. So I can just see from here I've got the cable going up just there underneath the mirror and kind of into the headliner just here. So in the side of where the mirror is. I'll obviously neaten this off and make it look nicer. And then we're just going to run it across the top of the roof liner, just like this, in here, until we get to the edge. So you can see there, I've got it behind the panel here, and I'm just going to continue just to push it behind, just like this, until it comes all the way. So once you pull the cable across the top of the window, you then need to get the cable to pop out just here. So this is quite a long cable. Now we've got a side airbag in here. Now we need to get the cable to come the other side of the airbag so as not to compromise it. So it's easy to get the cable out this way, but it would obviously go over the top of the airbag. So we just need to feed it back ever so slightly, just so we can get some purchase over this way. And then we can just feed it over the top of the airbag. So we're not gonna make it unsafe or anything. And then once you've got it here, it's just a matter of pulling the cable through and it goes under the airbag this time. Just be slightly fiddly when the USB connector comes through because it's slightly larger to manoeuvre around the back. But there we go, that's just come out. And you can see here we haven't obstructed the airbag at all now. So the airbag's completely free because we're coming around the back of it. And then we can just route the cable down the channel, and then it's just to put the roof liner back up again because I've just had to pull it down ever so slightly. Just feed it back and get the seal right. I will spend a bit of time doing this off camera just to make it look nicer. But there, essentially we got the same thing here. I'm going to get this little part slotted back in properly. To the seal goes to about here. Okay, and then I'm going to try and run it just across this little seam here so it goes inside there. So here I just need to get my hand in just to pull this panel out a little bit, just give it a little bit of pressure, just to unclip it. This, and then just to be able to run the cable here and then go inside this panel, just like this. So we're getting it inside where it needs to be. And just clip this back in again. There we go. So we've got the cable inside now. And then it just remains to get all the extra slack here. I'm going to cable tie this, and then I'm going to just wind it up like this, get a cable tie on it, and then shove it back in here, and then just clip everything back in again. So there we go, we've got a little bundle of wire in there. Just check the cable tie in, and plug this back in to here. Get the top lined up, there we go. Perfect. So if you just spend a bit of time just routing the cable through and pushing it behind the various seals and things, and you'll get a really good finish on it. I'm probably going to go back and look at the cable that's hanging from the camera to the roof line just to neaten that off a bit. But as you can see, it's a pretty good camera. I would recommend it if you can get hold of it. That's it. It's a little bit fiddly in places, but it's not for an advanced person to do this. I think anyone could do this. You just need the right little bits and pieces to do it. As I said, all those are going to be in the description for this video. All links to Amazon, all affiliate links as well. So if you are going to use these, then it does help the channel out a little bit. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and please tune in next time. Thank you.